Hey guys, it's Patty. Thursday, January 29th, 2026, and it's still cold outside and we've still got snow coming, but as you can see, I am in the studio today. Figured I needed to come out here and lift my spirits a little bit. My toolbox still hasn't shown up from Harbor Freight. I'm going to give you guys a word of caution. If you opt to order something from Harbor Freight that you have to do a pre-sale on, in other words, you go ahead and you buy it, you pay for it, because they have to order it because they don't have one in stock. It turns out, now yesterday was 2 weeks since I've paid for my toolbox. And I know for a fact they've had at least two of those same boxes in the same color show up in their store, because you can go online and in stock, low inventory in stock, but in stock. But never got the email that my box was there. Husband went up this morning to inquire with the store manager about what is going on. Turns out with Harbor Freight, if you pre-sale, in other words, pay for and order an item from them, that it has to come red tagged from their warehouse that it's indicated for you. Store manager can't say, hey, this is the toolbox that so-and-so ordered. Let's pull it, put their name on it, get a hold of them, say, hey, your box is here, come get your box. Oh no, they'll go ahead and take that box that you've already paid for, but it's not indicated from the warehouse that it's yours, and they'll go ahead and put it on Salesforce and sell it to the next person. I'm sorry, but I think that is wrong on many, many levels. If you have a customer that has already paid for that item and they're just waiting on it to come in, that should go to the person who has already paid for the item. I'm sorry, that's how I feel, but apparently Harbor Freight doesn't feel that way. Had we known, and they're now saying it's going to be February 14th before it comes in. One entire month. 4 weeks before it shows up. I am not happy. And the reason why I say I'm not happy is because the day that I pre-bought the box, the clerk that did the sale for me said it should be here in just under a week. Didn't bother to tell us what the true story is. Had we known it was going to be a month before it came in, that they could send me the red tag from the warehouse one that indicates that's the one I bought, when the two that have come in since I pre-purchased that one was the same box, because they show up in a cardboard box. Had we known that it was going to be a month, I would have gone to the store the next town over, which is only 15 minutes from my house, and bought it there instead of giving my business to the local store. I'm not happy. I could have probably ordered it online and it's shown up through FedEx delivery quicker than this. I won't be doing that again. If I want another one and it shows in stock at a different store in a different location, that's the one I'm going to. I'm not doing this pre-sale stuff anymore. Not going to happen. So that's your warning for the day. That's my rant. That's my soapbox. I digress. Anyways, moving on. I said I was going to talk to you guys about some storage today, and I am. When it comes to your crafting, if you're just now getting into it or you've been into it for a while, crafting storage is going to depend on your likes and dislikes, how much space you have for the storage of your crafting supplies, and what kind of crafting supplies you have. I have been doing crafting since I was a kid. I mean, I've got stuff that's 40 plus years old in my crafting stash. But really get into it as a big hobby like I have has been 26 years at this point. And I have, evolved over time in my storage. And I will say some storage I've gotten rid of and then gone back to eventually. You can do something as just putting into your storage into a little grocery bag. If you say you're doing diamond dots paintings and you're just getting into it. If you've got a little tote bag, put all your supplies in there. You can move it from room to room and what have you. There have been times when my storage was underneath my bed. So that was typically shoe boxes, cardboard boxes that I'd bought maybe a toaster in, and so I'd shove it in there. Anything flat that would fit underneath the bed, that's where I stored it at. I eventually moved into, having part of our closet. So plastic shoe boxes still, but then I kind of upgraded to the larger Sterlite containers, the clear ones. I've done the rolling carts that Sterlite has that are 4 drawers, but they're deep. Things can get, and I will tell you, I just got rid of the last 6-drawer cart from Sterlite that has the big, deep drawers. I'm talking the big ones that some people will use for dressers and things like that, because we've done that too. But things get lost in those, and just over time they don't last as long as you would love them to. They're not really a permanent long haul solution, but if that's all you can afford, then that's what you do. I've evolved to the point where I have some of my stash is in these 12 by 12, what they call a scrapbook container. You can buy them Hobby Lobby, Michaels. You can order them online. But again, things can get lost in it because there's so much stuff in it. Then I also have Sterlite. Some of these containers. This is all my leather scraps. I have probably 50 of these. And I have 50 of the square style ones that you could buy at Dollar General. And it's all about purchasing, number one, what you can afford. And number two, what works for you. I have used many solutions over the years that I thought was going to work out, and I would spend money on them, and then come to find out they just don't work that well. Scrapbooking, for instance, scrapbooking paper. In early 2000s, Cropper Hopper at the time came out with these really cool plastic upright, what looked like library book files that was meant for your scrapbooking paper to stand in. And they also sold the dividers and stuff. Last year, I've used those for my scrapbooking paper until last year. I finally just held my feet to the fire and I got rid of the upright storage because they no longer worked for me. I actually have scrapbooking cubbies over there that was gifted to me from my sister-in-law because she had outgrown the need for them because she had reduced her stash quite a bit. So she gifted them to me, and I put them onto a wheeled shelving unit that I could shift around. I will show it to you on the next video to explain to you. But so my scrapbook of paper is in cube shelves that sit flat. But I've done all iterations for scrapbooking paper storage. Stamping, rubber stamping. Sometimes when you buy rubber stamps, the original rubber stamps 20 plus years ago came on the wood blocks. Those all, of course, took up lots of room. We'd put them in the clear containers I showed you. You could put them in totes, all sorts of different stuff. And then they started coming out with the polymer rubber stamps that are on acetate sheets. Different companies create the little slide-in covers so they stand up straight. And you can put them into a file cabinet or shoebox or container, whatever you might have, or just stand them up right on a shelf like a set of books. Me, you'll see it over my shoulder here, I want to say 15 years ago, decided to unmount all of my rubber stamps from the wood blocks, and I bought DVD cases. These are DVD cases that you can buy, Amazon, bulk, different places, and as you see, they're meant for a DVD, but these, I unmounted all of them, and I put them in here. Now, these particular ones don't have the holder for DVD because you can buy them without that holder now. And then I would slide paper in here and stamps so I know what stamps are in here. But that's what all this is. It goes to the bottom, and then there's a big container below these on the floor of stamps that I've bought that still haven't been unpackaged from the original packaging. I might have had a little problem at one point. But I quit buying the stamps now. I have so many sets. I pretty much have it all covered. So unless it's for something specific and I don't have a stamp for it, I'm going to go in my stash. In the future video coming up, I will work on going through this with you guys. And you're going to come along as I open the packages of the unopened stamps and put them into cases. Now, the holder that this is in, these are holders that came from GameStop. My son had them years ago. It's meant for putting PlayStation, Xbox games and stuff in, but they work perfect for holding that stuff. And I've got 4 there, and I have 2 more over here. Now this may change. I may not be keeping them in the wall holders. I don't know. I have not decided. Depends upon when my box gets here. Who knows? But I also have cube shelving. I'm going to shift you over for a minute, and we're going to, of course, punches. I have this. This was given to me. This was a custom-made ribbon rack for someone years ago. It's heavy duty. It's made of heavy-duty oak. It's heavy. I broke my foot with it one day when I dropped it on my foot, but I digress. But yeah, as you can see, I don't have a light turned on in here. Let me turn my light on in here real quick. Turn one of my lights on so you could see a little bit. Come on, there we go. All right. But as you can see, cube shelves. You know, these are some of the cheaper version of the cube shelves. These are the Better Homes and Gardens variety that you can get at Lowe's. I will say, if you're going to buy these type, and they're going to be permanently installed, they'll work for you. After time of being shifted around, holding a lot of weight, they will fall apart. And then I would recommend buying the sturdier ones from IKEA or the other brand from Lowe's. It's the cube. I mean, the real thick ones. They really hold up. But as you can see, I've got, you know, you can just use the cubes and shove stuff in there. Shove stuff in there. Shove stuff in there. And, you know, we talk about storage. These are tapes. Glue dots. Down here, I've got, what is that? Oh, it's some of my Sizzix stuff that's going to be going into the toolbox if it ever shows up. This container here is just a simple basket. I do like these baskets. These are a basket weave. You can actually buy these in brown and gray at Dollar General. Michael's had these at one point. But in this container, let me show you something. Embossing folders. I have a ton. That's full of embossing folders. Problem is, I can't access them easy. I can't really see them. So I've got to come up with a different solution for me because this no longer works for me. I used to be willing to sit and spend time to flip through them, pull them out, see what they are when I was getting ready to do a project. That doesn't work for me anymore. I need to come up with something different. Now the holders they're in, I'm keeping those. I'm keeping these guys. You know, see, that works for me. But this, the main container, doesn't work for me anymore. Part of going into a toolbox system is going to be this. And as you can see, everything's stacked because I've been shifting and reorganizing. But let me show you this. I mean, you're getting a good look of different storage solutions here. These little guys are really, really cool. These are by Iris, I-R-I-S. And these are project holders. I think they're 6.5 by 6.5 inches. They're great for holding random stuff like this. I'll never get rid of these. I love these. And then there's another one of the smaller shelves, smaller baskets. But I have all sorts of stuff. But we talk about the Sterlite containers. These down here, that's what all of this is. With different projects and different materials to use. Never underestimate a good photo box. My sister-in-law and I, we've probably gone through having photo boxes for stuff 10 different times in the space of 20 years. We used to buy the ones when they'd go on sale for like $3 for, $6 and stuff that had all the pretty stuff on it. And at one point, she and I, between the two of us, had over 100 of them. And that's all we had our stash in. And that's where we would put papers, little tchotchkes like this, That's what we were doing. We would have rows upon rows stacked because they don't weigh much. And they're great for dividing stuff out. They're uniform, so they easily stack into a small space. But we both have gotten away from those because over time, every time you're pulling them open stuff, that happens. Yeah, they'll bust open on the sides and everything. I think I have only this one left. I want to say this is the only one I have left. And what is even in this? I don't even know what's in this because I don't have it marked. See, that's another thing you need to think about too. When your craft supplies start getting in the amount that you can't remember what's in every container, make sure you label them. Let's see. Oh, random little papers. Yeah, random little papers. I wouldn't have known that was paper in there. Don't have them marked. Saying that's for sublimation. It should be inside the house in my sublimation toolbox, and it's not. Cans. Don't underestimate cans. Those are Jingle Bells. And this is all stuff that just hasn't been put away yet. Hey, Mickey. I even have, my sister-in-law gave me these. These little carts that you could buy at Michael's. I don't even remember the name of them at this point. But these are really cool containers. The bases that are on wheels, you have to buy them separately, but they lock into one another and just turn into little caddies that you can take wherever you need to. And when she gave me these last summer because she was upgrading to something that worked better for her. And there's 4 of these. And I had all this stuff in the photo boxes. And I opted to go through the photo boxes because they just weren't working for me anymore. And so I decided to move to this that she'd given me. And as I was doing that, I was purging. But here's the thing. And they pull out. Each one has a container like this. And then you have 2 smaller sizes also. They would run, I think, $35 for a set of 3 of them. The base, I think, was $25, $30. Amazon sells them. I'll have to look up the name for them. I don't have it in front of me at the moment. But for now, that's working for me. But as I'm shifting to rolling tool chest for everything, like the little chest here for my paints, and I told you yesterday that I bought 2 more of them, but in black, some of this will shift into a toolbox. One of the reasons shift you guys a little bit here. Hey. One of the reasons why I loved this is because if I was going to her house to craft for the day, I could pick what I wanted and put it and just carry it with me. Portability has always played into my crafting storage solutions. If I wanted to go to her house to craft or somewhere else to craft, I wanted to be able to pick up whatever stuff was in it and just take it with me, rather than choose what I wanted and pack a bag for it or a different tote and stuff, which I still do that anyway. But I do know that coming up, this is going to shift away from my storage solutions, and I will put it to use somewhere else. It may go to my tool shed. Yes, I have a tool shed. I have a thing for tools, drills, saws. I'm a power tool girl. Plus I have, household tools. But this, and I keep screws, but I may wind up putting that stuff into this. I'm not sure yet. Normally I would say just let it go when you empty it, but this is something, she had it for 4 or 5 years. She loved it, passed it on to me, and I plan on getting some use out of it. It may not be in the craft studio. I'm not sure. I may keep one in the craft studio and pass the others into other parts of the house. We will see. But that is one solution there. Something else that I've had for a long time that I have opted to let go and I have not cleaned up. These are going to be going to the local thrift store. This is by Boone. These are, it's almost like PVC panels, and it's designed to be screwed into the wall. There's 2 screws here, but they're offset, and they're all different sizes, as you can see. But they're set at an angle, and I used to always have them on my desk, and you could put all sorts of stuff into them. I had them filled with scissors, glue picks, crafting knives, paint brushes, pens, all sorts of stuff. I had 4 of them. And when you would put them on the wall, you could actually, and it'd be a pretty cool geometric type thing. But I have outgrown this. It's no longer useful to me. So I'm going to pass it along in the thrifting and let someone else get some use out of it. These can be used for all sorts of stuff. I bought these probably 10 years ago. I followed Jennifer McGuire on YouTube. Jennifer McGuire Inc. is what her channel is now called. She doesn't do anymore, but she used to do her favorite crafting things at the end of every year. And these were one of her crafting things about 10 years ago. And I had to have it. And they suited me well. I had given 2 to my BFF, Melissa. But they didn't work for her. She has transitioned to Lazy Susans with mason jars with all her markers, pens, paint brushes, everything into mason jars on a Lazy Susan. And that works for her. I did that for a brief time too. Many years ago, I used to use a cooking Lazy Susan that already had a Pampered Chef. That's what it was, Lazy Susan, and got rid of it. Didn't like it anymore. But keep in mind, your storage solutions for crafting supplies will always be evolving based on what it is that you're storing, how much you're storing, the space you have to store it in, and what your crafting desires are. If you're just doing diamond art, you could literally have a backpack with all your diamond art stuff in it and the little containers of stuff for the beads and everything. It's all, and don't ever think that just because it's something you picked up at Dollar Tree for $1 or $1.25 or $2.50 or $5 they charge now, that it's not going to work. Live with it for a while. Work with it for a while. You can adapt for a brief amount of time until you can afford to go to something different. And don't be surprised if you do something, then get rid of that option, and then 5-6 years later you're realizing that really worked for me, and you buy it all over again. That does happen. But when I talk about labels, especially if you're doing a lot of containers shoved into a cubby or something, and I'm going to flip you guys around again, talking about, see these containers back here? A lot of them have labels on them. And the reason why it makes it easy to find your supplies. If it is hard to find what you need, then you're never going to use it. You need to be able to find it easy and put it away easy. Those are two big things to keep in mind. Now, if you're fortunate enough to eventually expand to a building, it can be overwhelming. I've done probably a dozen different iterations of storage in here, setups in here, and here I am. I'm getting ready to change it again. But I've been out here enough and worked in the environment to know what I want at this point. What I want at this point is toolboxes. Toolboxes that will roll easily. That one right there, I love that toolbox. I absolutely love it. And that's my painting supplies. If what I have will not fit in that, I don't need it. Straighten you guys up there. We're a little crooked when I moved you. Anyways, but I've got 2 more coming. I know that one of the boxes is going to be used for embossing and glitter and whatever else I may put into it. Not sure what. My white toolbox that I'm waiting on from Harbor Freight is going to hold all of my Sizzix and dies. Down in the drawers, all the extras and everything are going to be in that toolbox. That's going to be an entire video upon itself, and I guess at this point, February 15th or 16th is when I'll put that video out because it won't be until the 14th. Can you tell I'm a little bit sore about that? But yeah, let me grab something else that I use for storage. I am a huge Tim Holtz fan. If you've been in crafting long enough, especially card making and stamping, you know who Tim Holtz is. Tim Holtz has an entire line of the small cans for his small distress inks and for the bigger ones. I love these. When I first got into the distress inks, I was stacking them into little totes that would zip up and open, and you could see them. These, wow. I'll just say, and I even still have the stickers on the back of them. But these guys, I love them. And I have, I think, 2 dozen of the small ones and 7 or 8 of these. You don't just have to use them for the inks. These guys here are designed for the larger inks because they actually have a plastic tray in the bottom of them. You can stand them in. The smaller ones also do. But the plastic trays are removable, so you can put something else in it. You can put crayons in them. You can put paintbrushes in them. And it makes it portable, so you can take it with you wherever you go to craft. So this is an option. They are a little bit more expensive. So you may want to go to Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree has been carrying something similar to this for $2 or $3 now. Start with what you can afford. That's a big deal. Start what you can afford. Because you're probably going to shift more than once. Dead air. Don't you love it? But yeah, just when it comes to storing your craft supplies, work within your financial means, within the space you got, and with the kind of crafts that you have. You're going to make some missteps. You're going to buy something that you thought was going to be perfect because you saw it in somebody else's video, so you ran out and bought it, and it doesn't work for you. Whenever you go in a new direction for your storage, live with it for a little while. Work with it. Make sure it's going to work before you make the commitment to stick with it. Like I have said, our little Sterlite containers, I've come back to them many times. I have at one point emptied all of them and gone to something different. My building needs to be organized because stuff is falling again. But yes, so keep an open mind when it comes to your storage. If you are a stamper, there is a company out there called Stamp and Storage. And I highly Stamp and Storage. They make me these cubbies to hold your ink pads, refill, the refills and the pins. This company is called Stampin' Storage. Now, this one and the pink one my sister-in-law bought, she had painted those. She gifted them to me because she's gone to something different. Then there's also a company that does the ones for the paints. Stampin' Storage, though, they have a collection of storage for this kind of stuff. And I highly recommend you go and check them out. They're always running sales. You can get them in white now, which is really cool. The story behind them is very phenomenal. She started out as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and she had a need for storage for all of her stamps, and the husband created that, and their business was born, and they're in their, I think, 4th location now because they started in the garage of their home. And phenomenal business. But keep in mind, stay within your financial means with your storage solutions until you can afford something more. You know, people spend a lot of money on the IKEA shelving and use that to do the drawers and the doors and stuff like that. And I've seen some beautiful units created that way. Stampin' Storage does some also. That is designed to go into the IKEA bookcases. Work with what calls to you. What calls to you 10 years ago may not call to you anymore, and you may want to change it. It's just like remodeling our homes after a few years. We get tired of the same old thing. My goal at this point, especially since I'm investing in the money in the toolbox, is my big Vevor table that I recently purchased. Love that. Haven't used it other than just put stuff on too for the moment, but it's coming. Be flexible in your storage. Live with it for a little while. Work with it to make sure it's going to work out for you. And if not, move on and find something different. Guys, I'm going to stop this video at this point, and I'm going to do a second one that I'll probably load up this evening or tomorrow. Then I'm going to take my little Love with Thanks and doctor them up for the Christmas tree, for the holiday tree. Holiday tree. So at this point, it'd be Valentine's Day tree. But yeah, and so in the future, what we've got coming is the toolbox reveal. 2 weeks, 3 weeks. At this point, who knows? They're saying February the 14th. Never again. Never again. Temu, my 2 that I ordered from Temu, the black ones, to go with this one, have already shipped. They'll be here tomorrow. Or Saturday. Depends upon the weather. And, you know, those, I'm looking, and I'll bring you along when I set them up. And I have so much more. I have these 2 shelves over here. I bought those at the thrift store 2 years ago. They're technically bathroom shelves, but I wanted to use them as display shelves. They're catch-alls again at this point. I actually want to paint them. So that's a project that's coming up. But when I reshift and reorganize the studio, I don't know if I'm going to have a place for them, unless I'm intentional in making a place for them. Who knows? I need my big toolbox in first. Because a lot of what's on these shelves is going to go into that toolbox. But yeah, so as we go forward, I will introduce you to more storage solutions. Next video, the one where I do my little love hearts for the Valentine's tree, I will unwrap the scrapbook storage paper solutions, and I will show that to you to give you an idea with what I did there. You know, I could go on and on and on. See, JD, I'm talking to everybody again. I just want to talk. I like to hear myself, I guess. It's intelligent conversation. Scatterbrained though it may be. Anyways, guys, I'm going to let you go. And I'll come back with a video tonight or first thing in the morning with the Valentine's Day heart. 2 different treatments on it. I'm going to do embossing powder and glitter. And I'll bring that to you next time. And until then, love yourself, believe in others, and inspire those around you. Catch you next time, guys.